Hello, I'm Jeff Byers. I'm going to take you through how to use the marking menu modeling tools that are at your disposal. So go ahead and create a sphere, and in the sphere let's go ahead and change the subdivision axes to something like 48, and let's do subdivision heights to 48 as well. So that'll give us a pretty high resolution image. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go in here and hold down the shift key and left or right mouse button. You can click on insert edge loop tool. We've been through that, so we'll just go through them all. So insert edge loop tool allows us to insert edges if we hold down the left mouse button and move it up and down. You can add an edge loop anywhere you'd like. It will fall between these two edge loops. And then let's go ahead and go back. Then we have, let's go into object mode. Hit the Q key between tools, and we'll do this again. Hold down the shift key and the right mouse button, go to multi-cut. And I'm going to go in here and you can click and cut. So you can click anywhere here in between edges and cut specific areas you would like to create points, extra vertices or extra edges, and you can keep creating that and cutting anywhere basically you would like. And just hit the enter key, and voila, there you go. There's your multi-cut tool. Go ahead and hit the Q key, and let's go back into object mode. And then the next thing we're going to do is go into sculpt tools. Go into the option box for this one. And in this one, it allows us to actually sculpt on the surface of the object. So we've got stylus, and we've got all kinds of tools here that we can use. Alright, hold the B key, and you can start sculpting anywhere on the surface if you'd like. And we can reset the tool, and you can go in there and basically sculpt anywhere you want to the object. And that's the sculpting tool. I'm going to go Control Z back. Alright, so that's sculpting tool. Alright, so now we're going to get into another area. Let's hit the Q key again, and let's go into object mode. Alright, in the target weld tool, a lot of times I'll go into the option box if it is open just to reset it, reset the tool, and then close. And target weld is kind of a cool item, is where you can click on one object and you have to hold down the left mouse button and go to the next one and let go, and it will snap. Okay, and basically weld those two together that you've actually selected. So I'm holding down the left mouse button, okay, and when I let go, I move it over to the one I want for it to collapse on, and will collapse on it. So I want you to practice that. So you guys click on one, holding down the left mouse button and moving it over to the next point. Click on one with the left mouse button and move over to where you want it to merge. Okay, so it's really kind of a cool tool. You can use this to just kind of make your geometry more efficient, or you want to open up an area there for a hole, or whatever you would like to do. This gives you that option. Okay, there's a lot of cool things you can do with that tool. Alright, let's hit the Q key and go to selection mode. Let's hold the shift key down, right click, and go to fill holes. Now this is kind of a neat little tool. So it finds a hole. So let's go ahead and create a hole. So I'm going to click on face and delete this. And now depending on how big the hole is, Maya will try to fill that hole. So let's go to selection, hold down the shift key, right click on this, and go to fill holes. And sure enough, it filled that hole. Okay. Alright, so that's good. Let's go in here and let's see how big of a hole it will actually fill. So let's go in here and take that big old piece out. And let's select it. And let's right click over, or right mouse button click with your shift held down and go to fill holes. And it did fill that hole, but it is a basically an n-gon. So you'll have to go in here and finish this up with the multi-cut tool. Okay. And so I'll cut from here to here and enter. From here to here, enter. From here to here, enter. From here to here, enter. And go to select. And it did kind of make a flat piece, though it's not really round. So it filled the hole, a bigger hole, but we had to fix it for it to work. But it's possible. It did make some strange geometry, though. If we go in here, if I hit the Q key too and click off, you can see that there's kind of a weird patch right there. Okay. Alright, so fill hole tool, and then the next one, hold the shift key down, right mouse button click, append a polygon tool, which is also an interesting tool. It allows you to fill holes yourself. So let me create another. Let's go to face and start deleting this section here. Alright, so if that happens, if you've deleted some polygons that you didn't mean to, or you get a model that needs to be cleaned up and it's missing polygons or whatever, you can go in here to the selection mode, right click on here and go to append to polygon tool. Okay, you can click on the option box and reset the tool. Alright, so if we go in here and we select an edge, okay, so let's click on the top edge and then the bottom edge. See, let you go and click on the bottom edge for a quadrangle, hit enter, and then hit the G key and you can continue. Whoops, and sometimes it makes a mistake here. Let's go back and click on this and hit the enter key. Hit the G key, and if you have it kind of trying to grab something else, just continue using it and just kind of rotate around until you can get it to work. And I found this to be kind of a key for working with this tool. And then continue working around. G key. Here we go. Awesome. Okay, we fixed that hole. Alright, awesome, cool. So the next one we're going to do, let's go hit the Q key into selection mode and get back in object mode and hold down the shift key and the right mouse button and soften and hard edges. Use that quite a bit. So let's kind of harden it. Right now the edges are soft when we create an object. And so let's make those edges hard, and you can kind of see the difference. So select some edges and hold the shift key and right mouse button and go to soften, harden edge. So when you go in there, you click on it, it goes into this. We've got soften edge, soften, harden, harden edge. So let's go ahead and click on harden edge, select it, deselect it, and you can see that we've got hard edges right here. Okay, if I hit wireframe, you can see that's where they're at. So I can turn that off and on. You can see where those hard edges are. Well, if that's desirable, it isn't for me, especially for a round object. So you want to make those soft. So if you do run into an issue where you have hard edges and you want to make them soft, then you will select that area and go into the marking menu and go to soften, harden, and go to soften edge. And this will allow you to soften those edges. Okay. Alright, the next one in here is extrude. So we need to click on something to extrude. So we can click on an edge, okay, if we want to, a single edge. Go in here and go to extrude edge, and I can just pull that edge out like that. Okay. Now if you don't want to see, normally Maya will show a double-sided polygon or a single-sided polygon like this, but if you don't want to see that black, you can go into show, let's see, lighting, and click on two-sided lighting, and that will get rid of the black. Now if you're working with games, you need to know which side is going to be seen, so you need to probably turn two-sided lighting off. Okay, but if you're working with film like we are in this class, for the most part, until we get into the gaming part of it in week 5, let's turn the lighting, two-sided lighting on, so it'll show both. So that's extruding a edge, which you can do, which is kind of interesting. And then we've got, you can extrude a face. So if I right-click over this and extrude face, then of course I can either use the manipulator that comes with it, which is kind of interesting. You can pull that out, you can move it to the side, you can move it this way, but you can also scale it, which is kind of neat, using the cubes, right? There we go. You can uniformly scale it. Now some of you would don't like this manipulator tool. I don't really care for it that much, but it does come in handy when you're trying to extrude from a different angle. Okay, so if I hit the W key, notice that what I'm getting here is kind of a strange manipulator, and it's hard to pull it straight out, right? So that manipulator really comes in handy when it comes to doing that sort of thing. So you need to know when to use the manipulator, when not to use it. So that's something to think about. So if I click on another surface, let's hit the Q key for selection and go to extrude face again. So notice that this will extrude from the direction of the axes, which is nice. So basically we can go in here and move that. We can also click on this outer edge circle and rotate that if we want to, which is kind of interesting. I can continue extruding, right, by hitting the G key. I think that'll still work, yep. And then click on the rotational value and continue to rotate that around, which is kind of a cool thing you can do. Alright, so those are the main ones. Let's hit the Q key again. You can see those are the main ones around the center. We have offset edge loop tool, smooth, subdivision proxy, crease tool. These are things we can look at. They're there for us that we can use a little bit later. But these are the main tools that you'll be using to kind of fix things. If you need to fix things or do something to extrude or box model. So those are nice. So that's right at your disposal right here, and that's how you get to them, and that's how you use them. All right, until next time, we'll hit some new tools later. Have a great day.